Welcome to the Hump Day Hangout podcast by Semantic Mastery, where we answer your local SEO questions every week at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm Adam Moody, and my partner at Semantic Mastery, Bradley Benner, will be sharing his decades of expertise based on not only helping others, but running his own agencies and businesses in the space. If you'd like to join us live on YouTube each week, just go to www.semanticmastery.com/HDHO at 4 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. If you'd like to ask a question ahead of time, go to the same link, www.semanticmastery.com/HDHO at any time and submit it there. Don't forget, you can get the Semantic Mastery Local SEO Toolkit for free at the same URL. Okay, let's get going with this episode. All right, welcome everybody to the, what do we got? The 11th annual anniversary of Hump Day Hangouts. This is crazy. This is episode number 572, and I probably should have rehearsed how I was going to say that, but here we are, and it's 11 years of Hump Day Hangouts. So I don't know. I should have also had the little like clapping or party emoji ready to go in the background, but we got some good stuff going on today. We are going to get into it. It's the 12th of November, 2025. Oh, thank you, Chris. So let's take a second, say hi to the guys, and then we got some fun announcements before we get into answering your local SEO questions. So Chris, how you doing today?
Doing good. Pretty excited that we made it this long in this industry and like overall stuck together, stuck it all out. And yeah, that's why I'm happy to be here today.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'll second that before we move over to Bradley. I just, I look back sometimes and I don't know if you guys use Google Photos or that, but you get the reminders, 9 years ago, 10 years ago. I think it was 9 years ago when we met up in Miami Beach. And so seeing that, pictures of Hernan, you guys, us hanging out in the hotel lobby, having fun. It's crazy to see that stuff come up every once in a while, where
Yeah,
there's like, right, Pofu Live in DC, Denver,
Yep.
all sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah.
it's awesome, man. 11
Bradley,
years.
yeah, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. That's quite a milestone, I think. That has been we've been around for a minute, so
Yeah.
still here, still kicking. Things are shifting so rapidly now too. So today I felt a little bit generous, guys, because it was our 11th anniversary of Hump Day Hangouts, and I said, well, I'm gonna put together some training. I've been doing a lot of testing for AI SEO and specifically Gemini. So I'll talk about that a little bit more after we're done with announcements. But I prepared a full SOP that I'm going to give away today for you guys. It's just in a Google Doc, but it's how to optimize. It's a very, very good strategy for getting into AI overview or AI mode search. It's at least it positions the content and a client, if you're doing client work, which is what what I do. It will position them it puts them in a good position to have that content be referenced within AI search or AI mode, et cetera. And so specifically, I'm optimizing for Gemini. So I'll talk a little bit more about that after the announcements. But yeah, I just spent 2 hours putting this together because I've done a lot of testing over the last few weeks. I'm going to be launching another service under semantic links. The analysis side of it will be under semantic links, but the done for you services will be done or managed underneath semantic SEO. And we're in sometime in about a month from now, 3 to 4 weeks from now, we're going to have the AI SEO service. The analysis, basically auditing and providing on-page optimization recommendations for structure and optimizing for getting into AI search. Again, specifically Gemini. Because Gemini is fully integrated into map search now, like fully, like conversational. It's conversational AI in map search, and so that's only going to expand. And so what I'm optimizing for almost exclusively is Gemini, because if you do that right, it's likely to end up the content picked up by some of the other AI searches as well. And so anyways, and sometime close to a month from now, on the semantic link side of things, we'll do the analyses and provide like content marketing plans and things like that to help companies and agencies start to get their clients, positioned to, rank better, perform better in AI search, again, specifically Gemini. But then in the semantic SEO, we're going to have some done for you, content services and things like that. But I'm going to teach you guys how to do it. You can do it in house, right? The tools and everything are free. So I'll show you. Well, I mean, you have to have a subscription to Gemini, but other than that, it's pretty much free. So I'll show you guys how to do that today. We'll spend a few minutes talking about that.
Awesome. Well, I was just letting people know, on top of what Bradley's giving away, we're going to be giving away two, I guess I could call it copies, or two seats to
Admissions.
Yeah, 2 additions, 2 seats into local ops. And you can find out more about that if you're not sure what that is, localops.semanticmastery.com. And that is going to be for the best question of the day, which we get to choose, and a random commenter. So if you are live today, just leave a comment, say hi. If you want to be considered for the best question, guess what? You got to ask a question.
That's right.
But other than that, we'll roll into questions and get going.
Costco says, "Oh, what prizes?" Yeah, well, you're already in the mastermind, so you've already got local ops, man. Uh, you know, there's not really anything we can give you. You've already got it. So, um, let's go ahead and the free .blog subdomains have disappeared from the Web2 networks. Like they're like non-indexed, or you just can't build them anymore. Oh, I thought you were in the mastermind. Well, then you might win today, anyways. So, I'm just curious. I wonder, because our Web2 provider, it must have just happened. If the .blog domains are gone, it must have just happened because I haven't seen that. I'm not saying that's not true. I just hadn't heard anything about it yet. So, which is odd because we do a lot of branded networks for people. Anyways, let's go ahead and get it. Do we have anything else we need to chat about, guys, before we jump into it?
I don't think
I got
so.
a lot to
Yeah.
get through, so
Let's
I'd
do
say
it.
let's kind of jump right into it. All right. So again, I didn't actually really plan on this. It ended up taking me a lot longer to develop this SOP today than I planned, and I didn't have it in my schedule, but I wanted to cover this uh, with you guys because I've been doing a lot of testing on because I see it. I mean, it's plain as day, right? Everything's going to AI mode, AI search. Google's pushing it. Gemini is the fastest growing language model. And you know why? Because Google's forcing, in typical Google fashion, Google is forcing it upon all of its users. And I mean, it's okay with me. I like it. I think it's one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite, just because it's so functional in that it fully integrates with all of Google's ecosystem. It just makes it so much easier to develop stuff. And so I really like it. But like Google always has. Like, if you guys remember Google Plus, Google forced that upon everybody. And some people used it. A very small few of us did. I did because it helped with SEO. But it was one of them things where there when Facebook and Twitter at the time and things like that were growing, and Google Plus came onto the scene, they were growing rapidly too, but it's because they forced everybody onto their platform. And so that's what they're kind of doing with Gemini now. And it's funny, but we see that they're fully integrating Gemini into search and maps now. They got rid of Q&A, so like kind of crowdsourced Q&A or submitted business or company Google business profile submitted questions and answers, and now it's a chat, right? And so because of that, it's clear to me that we have to be optimizing for that as well. And I don't really care so much about the other language models as I in local SEO for local terms as much as I do is for Gemini, and specifically because consumer behavior has shifted. The way that people search it's local has been less affected by AI search than kind of informational queries. Okay. So there's less market share has been lost from Google to language models for local searches. But the consumer behavior has shifted quite a bit in that a lot of consumers now will go to whatever their favorite AI is and ask, for a recommendation or who is the best whatever near me or in my area, or like say the city name, like type the city name out. But that it's conversational, so it's a different way to search. But once the AI produces whatever recommendations it's going to produce, then the consumer goes to Google and searches Google for that company name. So brand searches, which is precisely why I've been talking about this for over 2 years. The most important thing in local search is branded location authority. You should be focusing on brand, building brand authority. So and I've been talking about that for 2 years, but if you're focused on building brand authority and consumer behavior has shifted to kind of a two-step, not everybody, but it's a massive amount of, or a large percentage of local searches have, in recent surveys, have been shown that their people's search behavior has evolved or changed in that they do kind of the two-step approach. And so now branded searches are becoming a lot more important because that's the second step. So Google is still very much the end, like the last point of search, where AI for local AI is chat is really kind of like the first step, like the top of funnel. but the bottom of funnel searches are still going through Google local, right? So maps is what I'm saying. And so that now that Gemini is kind of integrated into maps conversation, like you can literally chat with it, and it's only going to expand. I truly believe that that's where we should be focusing on in the local marketing space. I think we should be focusing on optimizing for Gemini and map search more than anything. And if you do that properly, you should do well in organic search and other AI search as well. And that's kind of why I said I wanted to do some training on this, guys, because I've been doing a lot of testing on it lately. There's some other things I've talked about in the mastermind, like the EEAT. I truly believe that that is kind of baked into the algorithm now, which before it was just a Google quality rater guideline that the manual reviewers would use when they were looking at content to determine, whether it was good or spammy or whatever. I truly believe that that's worked into the algorithm now because it has the capability to do so. And so something else I've been testing a lot with is associating content with a subject matter expert of the business, the company, the local business, right? So whether it's the owner, a lot of the times it's the founder or the owner of the company, but sometimes it's somebody that works at the company that we can associate as the kind of brand ambassador and the spokesperson, so to speak, for the business, and therefore use them because they have the credentials and the work history and everything else to be considered the subject matter expert, even though they're not actually writing the content. Our agency is. You understand? Like our agency is is drafting the content, but we're associating it through authorship to businesses most of the time it's the founder. But if not a spokesperson, somebody that works at the company that is considered the brand ambassador, so to speak, that has the credentials and everything else. And so I think that's one of the ways that Google is kind of trying to fight or overcome AI spam, right? Is because if it's so easy to produce really good content, but it's the authorship part that's harder to fake. You know what I mean? Because a lot of SEOs are out there pumping out really good content with AI, but they're not associating the content with authors and or fake authors, right? Personas, but nothing that's Google's getting a lot better at determining what are fake profiles or not, guys. It's much easier now for fake profiles to be kind of sniffed out like very quickly. So I think associating content with a subject matter expert, an actual author. And that is one of the ways to kind of bypass some of the AI filters that I think Google has baked into the algorithm, because you're associating EEAT, right? Expertise, experience, expertise, authority, and trustworthiness by way of that content being assigned to an author that is clearly and verifiably a subject matter expert. Does that make sense? And so why I'm talking about that is because what I'm going to be sharing with you today is precisely about how to find where there are gaps that can be filled in the top ranked websites for particular local search queries going through this process. I've got the full SOP. It's just in a Google Doc, not in Flowster. And I did that for two reasons. One, it was just faster for me to put it together in a Google Doc today because this was impromptu. I did not plan on doing this today, but I decided it's our 11th anniversary. Fuck it, I'm gonna do it. But then number two, Flowster is our SOP platform. But if I did that, it would have restricted the ability for some of you, unless you had a Flowster account, a subscription, to be able to access the training. And even though that would have been better for us because we could have got probably a few affiliate bucks from you guys signing up to Flowster, a lot of you probably wouldn't have, and you wouldn't have got the training. So I wanted to provide it today in a Google Doc format, and we'll go through that. I know we got a handful of questions. I'm going to try to jump in and just scan through the questions very briefly, guys, because I do want to wrap up on time. But I want to try to get through this training with you guys because I think it's so important. And what I'm going to be showing with you guys today is how to use Google Gemini and Drive and Docs and Notebook LM. That's it. And Chrome extension, link gopher. And with those few tools that I'm going to show you how to find content gaps and how to fill those gaps with like basically a whole kind of topic cluster, right? A content cluster where we identify and we create a pillar page and then spokes to supporting content pages. Now, I don't recommend publishing this directly on the money site. I'll show you what I do. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys exactly what I did because I've got a real world example that as I was developing this SOP for you guys today, I actually just created an article for one of my clients and I went ahead and published it on his Google site. So I'm going to walk through all of that with you guys today as well. So our 11th anniversary, I felt giving, felt charitable, and I felt like this would be a good thing to share with you guys today. So those of you that are here, I appreciate you guys because you guys have the opportunity to win, and you'll also get access to this. So let me grab the screen and let's kind of jump right into it, guys. We're going to run through some questions first, and then we'll get into the training. And I was actually going to try to do. We're moving off of Zoom because I fell in love with Gemini over the last few weeks, guys. Like, and Gemini is now fully with a workspace account at a standard level or above. So workspace business standard or above, you get Gemini fully integrated in everything, including Google Meet. And so there's no reason for us to be paying like $300 a month for Zoom when we can use Google Meet for just the cost of the number of seats that we have in our Semantic Mastery domain workspace account. You know what I mean? And so I actually got everything set up today, and I didn't test it with my partners, and I'm not sure how they join a YouTube live. We didn't test it, and it's been so long since I have, because we've been doing that shit off Zoom for years now. So, anyways, next week I expect that, or we're going to be streaming directly to. If you guys probably would know the difference, but next week my partners and I will probably be streaming direct through YouTube Live instead of through Zoom. So, we were almost late today because of that, but. All right, let me zoom in on this, guys. I'm sorry, I did the wrong button. Let me try that again. And then we'll roll through these quickly. Come on, God damn it. Try that one more time. Okay. All right, so this was from Rob this week. He says, I need to optimize the site's anchor text that already has a good amount of branded citations in Web 2s. Can you suggest a safe way to get 50 to 100 branded anchor links? Yeah, press release. Done. Press release, right? Just use a brand anchor. That's the only time I recommend linking from press releases direct to the money site is if you're going to use a brand anchor or a compound anchor, which is a brand plus anchor, meaning brand plus a location modifier or brand plus a product or service phrase, or both, right? If it's a longer phrase, that's fine too. And you can use a semantic triple. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is where we do it, and use that as the actual anchor text. It's a longer anchor text. Yeah, but who cares? It's a brand anchor and it's stating who you are, what you do, where you do it. And so, yeah, brand anchors, no doubt. I'm not recommending to anybody that you use press releases for link building. But if you're trying to dilute anchor text ratio to make it more branded anchors and things like that, or you've already kind of exhausted Web 2s and things like that, press release is good for that. Like, that's actually where I recommend using press releases, is for diluting over-optimized anchor text ratios. I don't use press releases for link building, just to be clear. It's for pushing authority, right? Brand exposure. That's what it's for, all right? Scott says, hey, Bradley, with all the changes in the online space, do you think building lead gen sites and selling leads to local businesses is still a good business model? I apologize if you haven't answered this question before. I'm new to the channel and just getting started. Thanks. Scott, you don't have to apologize for asking questions that other people have asked before. We've been doing this now for 11 years today. No kidding. And so we've answered the same question in some cases hundreds, if not even 1,000 times plus. You know what I mean? So it's no sweat. That's what we're here for. So anyway, do I think it's not real? Well, it depends. I build lead gen sites as a sales tool. Like, in other words, I build organic only lead gen sites that then, once I get them to start ranking at least partially in the areas that I'm targeting, then I can use that to then call up or prospect, because I don't do cold calls, but I do targeted prospecting to companies in the area where I have an organic lead gen asset that is starting to perform well, because I can point to it and say, look, I'm not even in your area. This is a new site, 2 months old, whatever it is, but it's already outperforming your own site. I don't have Google Maps profiles for these anymore because it's almost impossible to get Google Maps profiles and to keep them, Google business profiles, and to keep them because of the video verification issues. And even if you can bypass it, they're a lot, more trigger happy, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, more, it's so much easier to get suspended or put into re-verification status. And so I stopped worrying about spamming GBPs, 2 or 3 years ago. And I've been very open about that for the last few years. I tell people, don't waste your damn time, because if you try to build a business on, a house of cards, which is exactly what that is, then, I think that's ridiculous. And I'm not doing it. I hate rework, guys. And, putting a bunch of time, effort, and resources into a Google business profile to get it to rank. And then all of a sudden Google just suspends it just like that, and you have no way of recovering it. I don't want, that's not a good business model. And so I stopped 2 or 3 years ago now, even trying with Google. I mean, I still have a number of lead gen assets, but I really don't recommend focusing on that. I still think you can use lead gen assets as a sales tool, though. You see what I'm saying? That's precisely what I do with it. I use it specifically. They don't really generate a lot of leads or anything because of the nature of search now, guys. It's changed so much, right? Organic search results in local search are so far down on the page now. Think about it. For most local search queries, you have local service ads at the top, right? Google guaranteed ads. Then you have regular search ads below that. Then you have the maps pack with as many as two paid listings at the top, and then 3 non-paid listings in the map pack. And then you get to the first non-paid organic result. You understand? And that's like, you have to scroll below the fold. It's like 2/3 of the way down the page now, you know? You have to scroll past all these ads and then the maps, which has ads in it too, before you ever get. So organic search as it relates to local lead generation, the number or percentage of leads that it generates is significantly declined over the last 2 to 3 years. I know for a fact. And so I still recommend that you optimize for both organic and map search, but let's face it, guys, your leads are going to come from maps, full stop. Like that's like 90% of your leads, if not more, are going to come through Google Maps. Or if you're at, like I'm saying, from Google, 90% or more of the leads that you generate for your clients through Google are going to be either through map search, like organic non-paid maps, or if you're running ads, right? That's pretty much where all your leads are going to come from. Very, like occasionally you'll get a lead from an organic ranking somewhere, but it's very rare now. And I know for a fact that that's the case. And so I still think it's important to treat the site like you want to rank in organic, because that you're sending the right signals, but you're not going to rank and get results for that. That's why I don't try to monetize my organic only asset lead gen sites anymore by ranking and rent, like doing rank and rent. Originally, even 3 years ago, when I first started that, what I call the directory hybrid agency model, it really was a rank and rent kind of strategy to begin with, but it's evolved over the last 3 years to really those are just sales tools now. When I first started that program, and I was doing the rank and rent for $99 a month for those sites. And I know most lead gen guys out there, gurus or whatever out there will say, well, you rent them out for $500 a month and $1,000 a month. I've tried that over the years. And I've rented many sites over the years in Google business profiles for those kind of values, dollar values, monthly value, retainers, whatever, rental fees, lease fees, whatever you want to call it. But those are usually the hardest to keep the leaser in place. You know what I mean? Unless it's a high volume, like it's producing a whole lot of volume. And in my industry, the tree service industry, every time I had to try to lease out lead gen assets for, the higher monthly values like that, then every winter, they would suspend payments to me during the winter because things slow down, and like that's understandable. But to me, it was like a hamster wheel, right? Of constantly running to try to always trying to replace the lead buyer for my lead gen assets, and I got tired of it. And so when I started the DHA model to get away from doing Google Business Profile spam, I said, well, I'm going to just do organic only assets, and when they rank, I'll rent them out for $99 a month, very inexpensive. And that's what I did for months and months, or almost a year. I rented a number of sites out. But over time, because of what I just mentioned about organic rankings pushing down further and further and generating less leads, it's not really, there's no value. I mean, there's little value in the organic only assets. So I use them now as just a way to prove that I can get results. And then I use it as incentive, because when I'm pitching a tree care contractor in an area where I've got an organic asset that is performing fairly well, outperforming them, then I can call when I'm on the call with them, because I do cold email to get that call scheduled. And when I get a call scheduled, then I jump on and I say, look, I've already got this asset in your area that's outranking you for your own products and services, or, for your services in your own area. And I'm happy to assign that site to you and give you exclusive rights to any leads that I generate from that site if you sign up with me. It'll become an exclusive kind of like supporting asset for your business. And so that's the way that I use it. I think there's still a lot of value in, a lot of life left in the lead gen business, the local lead gen business. You just have to shift the model, right? So Google Business Profiles, I don't recommend that. Organic only assets, yes, you can use those as sales tools. But here's the thing, guys. If you know how to optimize for AI search, right, especially Gemini, there's a whole nother model right there, right? So I'm not sure how to. I haven't even thought through even started to try to think through how to optimize and create a lead gen business specifically for AI search. I haven't even pondered on that yet. It's actually interesting though. I might think about that now since that seeded the idea. You know what I mean? So I do think there's still value though in running, like operating a lead gen business. Just you have to change the tactics on how you achieve the lead generation. You know what I mean? All right. Ron says, do you know how to optimize u.com search infrastructure? No, I was looking at that. It's funny that you actually Ron posted this question because the last few weeks I've been doing a lot of app testing, AI app testing, and uh, I've been looking at doing like running AI locally through Terminal, Windows Terminal at home. But I've got to learn how to build a home lab and all that shit. I'm not sure I want to get into all that. So I was looking at like some different, I've been looking at all kinds of stuff lately and been testing a lot of apps too. I give them about a day. And if I can't, like, if I don't like the app or I find that it's buggy or something like that, then I immediately cancel before my trial's up, because I've been doing a lot of testing because they're coming out so fast. You know what I mean? So I was looking at u.com because it was suggested by Grok, I think, to me when I was asking about some particular software solution. And so I saw this, but I've not looked at anything like other than looking at the site because it was one of the things that I think Grok had recommended to me when I was asking about some of the programs and applications that I've been researching lately. This was brought up, but no, I've not done anything with it. I'm familiar with it. I've just not looked into it, and I'm not sure. To me, it's like AI search. Access to language models for like enterprise level search, but they also do. I know they have the chat here which is supposed to be like, I believe this integrates with, from what I understand it's one of those like apps that can integrate with, if I think, can integrate with the multiple language models and MCP servers and all that other kind of stuff. But anyway, I've not spent any time looking at u.com. So no, to answer your question, that's no. Ron says, follow-up question. This reminds me of your syndication model. Any updates on your AI course? I don't know what you mean about AI course. I think you're talking about the syndication. That's not really a course. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that we're going to teach the how we built the syndication app. That's because that's proprietary. What we're going to do is probably provide a done for you service for that. I don't know. We haven't decided yet. It's still in progress. We're actually my development team is putting the finishing touches on it. We had some issues with one of the final publishing points. The API, I'm using a cloud version of N8N instead of a self-hosted version, and that has some limitations that the self-hosted versions don't. And so we ran into a snag with our final end publishing point. The application that we were using was not available to connect to N8N via cloud nodes. It had to be the self-hosted nodes. So therefore, we had to switch posting apps. It's the one that we're using now, and we just switched it on Monday this week. Is Postiz, Postiz. That's the app that has native integration with Cloud N8N nodes or Cloud N8N version, whatever you want to call it. So my developer's actually working on integrating that this week. So I hope Monday we have our check-in meetings on Monday. So I'm hoping by Monday it'll be ready because that's the last piece that's missing. So anyway, yeah, and we'll guys, remember what time of year it is. So Black Friday's coming up, and there's a feeding frenzy that will occur because of that, like it always does every year. We're not going to pile on. We don't do that. We're going to give shit away instead. But then after that, it's not really a good time to launch products between Christmas or Thanksgiving and New Year's. So I don't know that we're going to launch it before then. We probably won't. Because we're going to test it internally through mass, like a lot of publishing. So put a lot of volume through the syndication workflow that we built, and kind of try to stress test it and everything else. Because like I said, I don't know that we're just going to share the build. I don't know. I haven't decided that yet. We'll let you know when it's appropriate. Okay. Is building hundreds of G sites still in a tiered structure still effective? I don't know. I haven't done something like that in forever. So. Yeah, I haven't done any kind of spam link building like that in forever. I couldn't tell you. be honest. It would be a guess, and it wouldn't be fair. So I don't want to answer that because I don't know. That's not the type of link building I do. Huzzy says, are you planning to use form submission services to pitch the directory listing, or AI answering services, or will you pitch AI answering services through the listing delivery call? All of the above, Huzzy. Form submissions will do well. I have a AI kind of sales agent that will answer the phone. So when I go through that, that is one of my outreach methods for the launch of Canopy Call Lead Rescue, which is my AI answering and appointment setting service for tree care contractors. We're going to use that form submission service. Actually, I was looking at setting that up in house, the form submission service with AI apps. It's easy. Like, go look at Lindy, like Lindy. Go look at Lindy.ai. Like, you can do that with Lindy, right? Form submission services. Like, just Lindy will go out. You can scrape and build these little workflows, all conversationally, right? Natural language. You just talk to it, and you build the nodes. You could probably do it with Make. I'm sure you could do it with those too. But like, Lindy is like super easy to use because it's not like techie, you know. So the only reason why I like using that other company is because they do it at scale very quickly. They've already built the infrastructure, and it's not that expensive. It's $430 for 10,000 contact form submissions. So I really believe that is definitely one of the ones that I'm going to test. But I'm not going to do that because that's kind of cold traffic until I've first launched it to my lukewarm list first, right? I want to because I will have much greater conversion when I send the offer and start pitching and promoting the offer to my list, my lukewarm list. And I say lukewarm because, I've got over, I don't know, 22 or 2,300 contractors on my directory, but I'm actually changing my newsletter. I've been publishing newsletters for both Semantic Links and Tree Care HQ for about 3 years, but I've had a company that does it for me that pay $800 a month per newsletter. So I've been paying $1,600 a month on newsletters for the last 3 years. And I realized just again in the last week or so, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Beehive, right? Beehive has an AI newsletter stuff that, like, I just signed up for it this week. I hired somebody on Upwork to set everything up. He's doing it now actually. But he's in Nigeria, I believe. Anyway, he's got some dude setting up my Beehive for both Semantic Links and Tree Care HQ. And I pay, I think, $129 a month, I think, for the subscription, and it has 2,500 contacts. And that's what I started to say with the tree service guys. There's like 2,200 contractors or so, 2,300 or something like that on the directory. But I just did an export from the directory and also my CRM and merged the list, deduplicated them, cleaned out anything that I knew was bad. And then I ran everything through Never Bounce, email verification services. And I ended up with about just under 1,300 contacts that will go onto the newsletter list. So that's the clean, verifiable contacts. I've got about 1,300. So the reason I brought that up was because I'm going to test with that audience first. So I'm going to do small promotions to segments of my list so that I can split test different, headlines and things like that for the landing page and see how it converts. And once I prove that it's a good converting offer, then that's when I'll roll it out to a larger kind of cold audience. And do promotions via web form submissions and things like that. Okay. You guys will know about it because I'll be sharing how that launch is going when it's in progress. So, all right. Alex says, hey, Bradley, I'm going to be testing subdomain sites for my main agency site targeting different. Yeah. This is Alex. Alex, we're going to be talking about this tomorrow somewhat in the mastermind for the Build with Bradley meeting, because I know you asked me about that. So this is Alex, one of our mastermind members. Yeah, we're gonna go a lot more in depth on that, Alex, tomorrow. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip that one for now, because if I get into that now, number one, that's really mastermind level content anyway. Number two, we're gonna talk about that tomorrow, so I can give you a better, more proper answer tomorrow when it's in a closed setting, if that's clear. All right. So we'll cover that tomorrow. Mike says, I'm going through the DH training and watching the video and steps under the section called directory import for importing contacts. Do we need, or do you recommend the paid pro version? No, of the WP All import. No, you don't need that. I've never used it. And by the way, Mike, just to be clear, I know who you are. It's Mike Waller, I believe. I only recommend that you just put literally maybe 50 to 100 contacts in WP Geo directory. And that's it. Seriously. Make sure, and actually I would definitely I would run all of your scraped contacts through Never Bounce, or I don't know if you just enabled email verification on the scrape job, because everything now has email verification. So you can do it a number of times, and that's what I recommend, at least two different verification services through the process of scraping the list and adding it into the Instantly or the cold email app. There's multiple points at which you can have that email address, the contact email address, verified. And so I recommend you always do that, because otherwise you can burn your domains. Man, I've got domains. I've been sending emails out now for over 2 years, and my domain reputation is still 99 and 100%. No kidding. Every now and then I'll have a domain that drops down below 97%. Whenever it gets to 96 or lower, which it's happened a few times, I'll just take that domain out of rotation, out of sending, and leave it in the warm-up process. And in a few weeks, the reputation comes back up, and I can put it right back into the mix. And so I've got a number of domains. I haven't burned a domain in over probably close to 3 years now. No shit. So like I said, I would recommend that you keep your domains very clean, your sending domains. And the way you do that is be very careful about who you're mailing to. Right. So verify your list, keep it small, just do a small import batch so that you can seed the site with some relevant listings. And then from that point forward, the only time you add a listing to the site is when you get an inbound reply from one of your cold outreach emails, right? And that way you know that it's a verifiable company on the other side of that email, and then you can add them to the directory. That keeps your directory clean, relevant, with data that is, from actual companies that are still in operation, okay? So do that, and your site will, or your directory will perform better, all right? Okay, guys, I'm going to jump into the training. Is there anything I got to cover in chat? I don't see it.
Yeah, I was just taking a look. Yeah, you got some stuff you should touch on.
What about AI overview? Dan says, in generating leads above the fold between ads and map spec. Yeah, that's why I'm saying I think we should all be focusing in local marketing on just really optimizing for Gemini. Like I truly believe that. If you do that right, and again, this is just a theory for now. I am testing it, but time will tell, right? We need more time. But I truly believe if we just focus on the local marketing level, to just focus in on Gemini and Google Map search, that structuring the content to perform well there will help it to perform better in other AI searches. So that's why I'm not, I think people are getting spread too thin when trying to now optimize for everything. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to focus. I'm going to focus on where the bottom of funnel is, which is Google Maps. That's where it's at. So I don't give a shit about the top of funnel. I'm not saying I don't care entirely, but I'm saying if we focus on the bottom of funnel where the transactions occur, and really focus in on that. And the way that what I'm going to share with you guys today is ways to identify like how to structure content properly so that it's more likely to get picked up by AI. And that's the same for Gemini as it is for any of the others. So I think that, definitely that's what we should be doing. And that's what I'm going to be focusing on until there's evidence that tells me I should be doing something else. Okay. All right, so let's jump into that, guys. So I'm going to kind of give you guys, I'm going to grab this URL and I'm going to put this in chat for you guys so that you have it. This is the SOP. Told you guys, I spent over 2 hours today putting this together for you guys, step-by-step instructions. I'm not going to go through and recreate this whole process on the call today because we've only got 22 minutes left anyways. But I did build this out as I was developing this SOP. I just said, well, instead of me just creating the SOP, I'll go ahead and build this while I'm doing it so that I can document it. And then I'll have the output from the build today that I can demonstrate to you guys. Okay. So let me give you the link first. I'll put this in chat. And you guys can kind of read along if you'd like, but I would encourage you to just hold off until after the Hump Day Hangout is over, and then you can go review it because you'll have the link anyways. And that way you can kind of listen and pay attention. Okay. Because I'm telling you, we're going to go through some pretty advanced stuff here, guys, but it's not a lot of work. It's not. Okay. Once you set it up too, and you'll have what's called a Gemini gem. I don't know if you guys have used those yet, but they're awesome. They're like Claude projects, right? That gem now is now set up and ready for you for a particular client to then do this for each of the areas that they want to target. Okay. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. All right. So, all right, guys, this is the Gemini SEO SOP optimized for AI overview and mode in search. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I put that in Zoom chat, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Forgive me, guys. I meant to put that in YouTube chat. I put it in Zoom chat. Here's the Google Doc. Somebody confirm for me. Did you guys? Oh, you know what? I'm going to see all your little icons pop up here. Here you guys come. So yeah, it's good. All right. Sorry. All right. Let me get into this. All right. So Gemini SEO SOP optimized for overview and AI mode in Google search. So you guys need to have a decent Gemini account. If you're using your own personal account, I would recommend you get what's the Google One or whatever. So there's a couple different levels that you can subscribe to. I subscribe to the highest Google AI Ultra on my own personal profile, but then I also have two separate workspace accounts now that we've upgraded to the workspace standard and above, which gives Gemini full integration into everything. So I've got like, I freaking love Gemini, man. I don't know why I slept on it for so long. I drug my feet. I just really didn't use it much. Now, all of a sudden in the last 3 weeks, man, I realized how freaking powerful it is because it just connects with everything. And so anyway, I'm a real fan of my two favorites are no question, Gemini and Grok. And I know everybody loves Claude. I like Claude for copywriting, but I'm also not a coder. So I still prefer conversing with Grok, but Gemini is fucking amazing, guys. So anyways, I'm going to show you guys how to use Gemini and Notebook LM today to just literally find all the holes with good. We're going to use Gemini to tell us where there are opportunities to rank in Gemini. We're going to use full Gemini suite of tools to have them Google tell us where there's opportunities that we can exploit. Okay. Some of these, I've learned some of these methods from a number of kind of people I've been following over the last few weeks. Julian Goldie is one of them. I want to give credit to Julian Goldie. He recently did something where he was talking about optimizing for Gemini SEO. So I did glean some pointers from him, but I've also been doing a lot of testing with Notebook LM. And so I've kind of integrated my own kind of flavor into this too. So I always want to give credit where credit is due. And so some of this was, some of this concept was gleaned from Julian because I've been following him really in his AI profit boardroom, but he's got an AI SEO group too that I'm not part of. And he does a lot of content. I follow him on LinkedIn, which you guys should do that too, because he puts out a lot of good free content on LinkedIn. It's good stuff too. So anyways, let me go through this guys with you guys, excuse me. The required resources is a Google account with Drive, Gemini, and Notebook LM. So these are the Google, and we're Google search, obviously. We're gonna do that too. Link Go for Chrome extension. I'm assuming if you're going to be using Gemini and you're going to be in Chrome, so I said a Chrome extension, a thorough business description of the target client. You can just, I can give you an example prompt if you want to just create a very thorough business description, but that's easy. So just have whatever, Gemini or whatever, just go create a very thorough business description of your target business. Then you're going to do an AI local SEO strategy data pack. So I've really gotten into building data packs. That is like, I actually enjoy it. And so for those of you that don't know what a data pack is a set of instructions. It's just an add-on, right? Like it's just an MD file or it can be a PDF. It can be with Gemini, it can be a Google Drive file, which is another reason why I love using Gemini because you don't have to convert. If you're going to port a chat into another model, you're going to have to, I recommend that you turn it into an MD file, but with with Google Drive, remember guys, you go to file downloads, and right there, you download it as an MD file, and that makes it portable to other chats and other AI models, right? So, but I love Gemini because you can connect all of Gemini and Google apps through Google Drive. And so it's so much easier, it's so much faster and more efficient to work in my opinion. So anyway, then this right here let me show you, I'm going to show that to you in Google Drive or in a Google Doc. That's a data pack. So that is an MD file, guys, just because this MD file is actually owned by another one of my Google accounts. So instead of it having direct access to the Google Doc, I just downloaded it as an MD file and added it here for you guys. Okay. So hopefully that's clear, but let me just show you what that looks like. Let me see if I can find that really quickly. That was I'll have to pop over here for that. Let me just show you that. So this is the AI local SEO strategy that the MD file is linked to, but this is the Google Doc version of it. And so this is basically like if you take a look, guys, this is a 20-page document that was developed from a deep research project, which is a Gemini thing, right? At least Gemini deep research is what I did. But I use that to, create this deep research project that becomes a data pack. So we just plug that data pack into a project or a Gemini gem. So you could do it in a cloud project too or whatever, but you just plug this data pack in and that gives it context, right? So that's the first one. Let's go jump back over here. I'm going to be jumping between browsers, guys, so forgive me. The next one is the SEO content structure and topic cluster. Now that is a data pack as well, but I use that as the system instructions. Okay. The other data packs are add-on plugins that go into the knowledge base area essentially of the project. But the system instructions it's also in data pack format, but these are the system instructions here. Okay. So I'm going to show you that one as well. Let me pop back over here. That's going to be this one here. So this is the master prompt for SEO content structure and topic cluster. Guys, remember what I said at the top of today's webinar or Hump Day Hangout. I truly believe from a lot of testing recently that EEAT is now baked into the algorithm. It did not used to be. I know for a fact it didn't used to be. But I think it is now. Again, that's an assumption. I do not have any definitive proof, but other than just testing and seeing as soon as I started associating content to an actual verifiable subject matter expert, I started seeing improvements in the campaigns where we do that. And so we started rolling that out across all of my client campaigns. And that's in the mastermind. Mastermind members will know what I'm talking about, but I've developed a system for doing this and doing this very, very well. I'm not going to talk about that here. Anyway, so you can see that this entire document here is basically on how to really trigger that EAT, right? And to cover any topic, to create a topic cluster and all of that so that it stands the best chance to get recommended in an AI search. All right. So there's the first two data packs. Let's pop back over here. Then the process, all right, create a custom Gemini gem. So I'm just going to pop into Gemini really quickly, guys, just show you what I mean in case you are unfamiliar with that. Expand the sidebar menu, and then you'll see over here is explore gems. If you click on that again, these are like projects. There's some pre-built ones, but just create a new one. All right. And here's where you give it a name. I give you the step-by-step instructions, description. Here's where your system instructions go. So this is your system prompt. Okay. And then here's your knowledge base. This is where you attach your documents, and there's a 10 document limit. A lot of them are like that, but what I do whenever I've got multiple documents is I just consolidate them into an MD file or a Google Doc if it's Drive. And then, that way you get around, it's a workaround, but that's it. You just create this here, and I'm going to show you exactly what the assets are that you should be creating. All right. I'm giving you two of my data packs here that I built. Okay. So you guys will just download those or add them to your Drive file or whatever, your Drive folder, excuse me. And then you'll use those as well when, again, this is system instructions. This is knowledge base. Those should probably be transposed because you hit the system instructions first and in the knowledge base in the Gemini app, the gem, excuse me. So I might swap those out, just transpose them after the call. All right. So anyways, the name, you can name it whatever you want. My naming convention is, let me just back up. We'll go here. You'll see this is the gem that I created today in preparation for today's webinar. And so if I go in to edit this gem, you'll see here's my name. So this Box Tree Care is the target company. Cedar Park is the area that's in Texas that we're targeting. It's a suburb of greater Austin, so greater Austin area. It's in the greater Austin metropolitan area. The description is to write articles optimized for Google for AI search, which basically means Gemini. And here is that master prompt that I just shared with you guys, which is the SEO content structure and topic cluster system prompt. Okay. And then, so from there, we're going to then create the knowledge base data packs. You're going to add a data pack with a thorough description of the target company. So this is the thorough description that I had created again with just Gemini. I just asked Gemini, hey, here's the target company that I'm going to be developing some content for in a Gemini gem. I need you to go out, and here's the website URL. Here's the company name. Provide me a very thorough description of the company and their service area that I can use as an add-on data pack in the Gemini gem. Okay, so there it is. Again, you guys should know how to do that. All right, so next, the AI local SEO strategy data pack. Again, you're going to plug that in. Then you're going to go scrape the top ranking URLs from Google AI mode. Now you can do it in both. You could do it in regular Google search. And I actually kind of recommend that you do. And today, for brevity's sake, because it took me way longer to actually develop this SOP than I planned. I was going to actually do both regular Google search and also AI mode search, and then consolidate both sets of results. You merge both sets of results from the scrape from AI mode and regular Google search. And then you, once you get both of the top 10 of each ranking for both of the same search query, but for both models or both modes of search, then you merge those together, and then you proceed with processing that as like one batch, instead of doing it two separate batches. It's just more efficient that way. I did not do that this time today. Because I ran out of, I knew I was going to run out of time. So all I did was the AI search. Okay. So let me just demonstrate. If we come over here, so this was the query that I used, tree service Cedar Park TX. Okay. And so what I'm talking about is going to AI mode. Now, not really talked much about this, guys, but I want you guys to also notice something. Okay. The URLs have changed now that there's an AI mode. Take a look at just, if I just copy that link address, guys, and we go, let me just open a notepad file. This is really interesting because I've not heard anybody even talk about this yet, but look at that URL. That's the first time, that URL is unlike anything we've ever seen before in Google local search, right? Google.com viewer, right? When did we started seeing that with AI mode, but until then, I'd never seen it before. And in place machine ID. That's really cool, right? So I've not done any experimenting with building links to any of this stuff yet. I'm hesitant to do it. I got to figure out, I have not played around with these URLs yet, but I would like to do some testing with some of these URLs to see, what type of manipulation power we have over it, if any. But I have not yet. So anyways, but these aren't the URLs that we're going to be analyzing. All right. That's not it. So what we want to do is analyze the website URLs that are associated with these. Okay. And so that's where link gopher comes in. So we just come over here and we click extract all links. Now you're going to get a mess, right? So you can do it the hard way where you just highlight all of these page URLs, put them into a notepad file the way that I used to do it for sure. And then delete all the URLs that aren't really relevant, like the Google search URLs and the Google account URLs and all that kind of shit. Or you can do it the way that I described in the SOP, which is, again, if you've got Gemini, which you're going to need for this process anyways, you just go over to Google Sheets and you scrape you scrape all the URLs from that link gopher, paste them into column A, and then you just follow the instructions that I wrote right here. Okay. So you paste them in column A with Gemini enabled. The filter prompt, which is that's where you chat right here, right? You click that little button and then you just chat right there. Okay. So that prompt I gave you, that's all you do. I need a list of URLs filtered to remove all the URLs under the google.com domain. You hit go. And a second later, all the google.com domain URLs are gone. And what you're left with are these other URLs. But here's something else that I want to bring to your attention, guys. Notice the URL string, the pattern for every one of these sites here. Most of them, there's only a handful of page URLs in here that does not have that text string appended to the end of the URL, guys. These are clues is what I'm trying to give you guys, right? I'm trying to draw attention to the clues that Google is giving us. Do you understand? I'm not giving you clues. Google is giving us clues. I'm just trying to draw your attention to them. Do you understand? Look at this, guys. This is the kind of right there. That string of text is then telling us what the AI is like. Everything after that is telling us what the AI actually used to pull that data in to the top of AI mode search, right? That's what I'm saying. Like you can see the text strings and that what Google is associating with these URLs through these text strings, these URL strings, excuse me. Do you guys see that? To me, that's valuable data, right? Because this is specifically telling us like what Google is looking for. Now, you have to trim all of this off the URLs or their Notebook LM is going to throw an error. Ask me how I know. They won't let you. Let's just do that. We'll just demonstrate that. But if I just go over and create, so anyways, I'll come back to that in a minute. What I'm saying is, guys, pay attention to this stuff, okay? Because that gives you clues as to what Google is looking for in order to promote these. That happened to be the same URL or the same business that had two URLs for it. But I just think that's important to note, okay? So let's go back over here and then jump back into the SOP. And so once you've got the original text strings, all the Google URLs removed from the list of URLs, then you're going to extract the text strings from each URL, starting with that string there. and then paste the columns into column D, or paste the values into column D. And so that's the prompt right there, which will do that. Okay. So here's the actual prompt right there. Right. So this is saying the first one is the trim prompt, which just removes the Google URLs, excuse me. And then this is the formula that you actually put in column B. So what I recommend is that you take the G sheet like this. You'll see the way that I did it here. Okay. Let me scoot that in a little bit. All right. So right here is the formulas. So you just put that formula in, assuming that you're on row 1, you're going to put it in B1, and then you just drag it down. And in fact, with Gemini enabled, it creates this kind of like table around this data anyway. So as soon as you paste it in there, that top, it just instantly, boom, it applies it to everyone in that row. So there's your clean URLs, but you have to copy them and then paste values only. So I typically always add a new column next to it and then paste the value only here, because you can see, you can see, well, they must have converted already. That's interesting. That's interesting. Anyway, that kind of threw me off. I'm not seeing the actual, it looks like the formula is only up here, which is interesting. That's the first time I've seen that. I'm used to seeing the formula there, but like I said, I pasted it in the top and it instantly converted all the way down. And it's, I've never noticed that before, but it's not actually using the formulas for all those other cells. Anyway, I copied and pasted values over here, but that's not necessary. As long as you got them on your clipboard, then you just want to Control Shift V, so paste values only, into Notebook LM. Okay, so here's Notebook LM. In case you guys haven't been to it, it's just notebooklm.google. Click on Try Notebook LM. You have to agree to some permissions and stuff initially, but let's just walk through a new process just very quickly. We're going to click on that button, and then we're going to say create a new notebook, excuse me, and then here's where you're going to put your URLs. So you're just going to click on website and paste your URLs in here. Now, it's important that you have them trimmed, because if you don't, if you try to use these URLs, you're going to get an error, okay, with those text strings, because I think the comma throws it off. I don't know if it's the comma or what it is, but something throws it off and it says it's unacceptable. So instead, if you come back over and get the URLs like I just showed you after they've been trimmed, and I'm even keeping the lawn starters and the Yelps and everything else in there, guys, because they're being referenced. I know they're being referenced in AI mode, just in that little sidebar, like little window or whatever, but they're still being pulled in. And so I'm going to use that as part of the data set. Okay. And so you can see here now there's no errors. All right. So I could run that. I'm not going to, because I don't want to take the time to do it, but that's what's listed over here. Those same URLs that was in that sheet. Okay. So once you've done that, then like I said, you're going to first want to set up your gem, name, description, system prompt. You're going to have the 2 data packs that I provide. Well, one of them was here, but you're going to have well, that's right. And you're going to create your own data pack for the business, the company that you're promoting, add that to the knowledge base. And then you have the AI SEO data pack that I gave you. So that you're going to have that. All right. And then you've got to create 2 more data packs, which is what we're doing in Notebook LM. Okay. So back over here, Notebook LM, now we've taken those, whatever 30 URLs, or I think it was 38 URLs or whatever it was. Looks like, oh, those are just hidden rows, but I think the quantity was 38. So it's taking however many URLs there are, and those are the top ranked URLs from Google AI mode search, right? All right. So the next thing that we do is we just then come over here and we click on reports. All right. And you click create your own report. All right. And then right here, I've give you and all it's doing, by the way, guys, is why I like Notebook LM is because it prevents or significantly reduces hallucinations from the AI. Because if you're using general Gemini to do this, Gemini will go outside of this data set to try to find validating information points, etc. But this is restricting the AI to only analyze this data set that is contained over here in the sources, nowhere else. Well, these are the ranking pages in AI mode search, okay? So I went ahead and added this right here, which is, this is the prompt to then create the report. So like I showed you in Notebook LM, guys, you click reports, then click on reports over here, and then that's where you're going to paste that prompt, is right here. Okay, so that prompt that is in this code block here is going into there. Okay, and this is basically saying create a full report that lists the following for each of the provided sources. And so that's the sources that are in the left sidebar, right? And then this tells us right here, you can read through that prompt. Now I borrowed parts of this from Julian Goldie. Okay. That's what I mentioned earlier. All right. So if we come over here, if I scroll up a little bit, let me close that. You'll see this is the original. Well, originally I didn't ask it. Oh, well, originally I ran that prompt and forgot to click the reports button and paste it into the prompt instructions. So it gives it to you in this format. So then I re-prompted it again. And I mean, it's really good. These are the sources from over here. But then I said, okay, I want, I don't know where it went now, but anyways, I ended up running the report. Oh, you know what? That's right here. That's going to be this one, I believe. Let me double check that. Yeah, competitive content analysis. So this is the output from that. Okay, so that was the first output there. This is the one that said that basically it went through that same thing here, but now it was in report mode instead of like in the kind of chat area, if that makes sense. And then let me close that again, and we'll go back and open up this one. Yeah. And so here's the long tail keywords, which was the next prompt. Okay. So if you guys saw that, the first one that it produced was this one. So that's what the report output is, right? So this prompt right here created this report output. So you want to download that or copy and paste it into a Google Doc. Okay. So that's this right here. That's what this is. So this is this is the next data pack that you add, and then you add that to the knowledge base right there. So that's right there, that one. Okay. So then after you've done that, then you're going to run one more prompt. And that's this one here, Notebook LM. So then suggest 10 to 15 additional long tail search terms related to, and you repeat whatever that term was. Okay. In this case, tree service, Cedar Park. And then this is one code block. It just had a page break. But from 10 to 15 search terms, suggestions that you provide, select 5 low competition search phrases that have a strong chance to rank in AI search. All right. Then once it put that, the output from that is what we're looking at here. Oh, excuse me. That's this one here, right here. Okay. You guys see that? And so again, I would just come over here and I would copy that content, and then I would go paste it into a Google Doc, which is what I did here. That's this, right? You see that? Okay. So now then we go add that to the Gemini gem, which was right there. All right. So there's our 4 data packs, right? And our system prompt. Now it's ready to run. All right. So let me show you guys. You click save. If you're updating it, it'll say update. If it's new, it'll say save or publish, one of the two. I can't remember. But here's how it works, guys. Once it's done, you've saved it. Now you've got a save gem over here, and it's ready to go. This thing's primed. And so the prompt then is this. Okay. Review the attack. I always do this. I learned this from a business coaching program my partners and I are in. We didn't give away the prize, guys, and I know it's 5 o'clock. We're almost done. So if you guys can give me 8 more minutes, and then we'll give out prizes and we'll wrap it up. So anyways, guys, I always do this, but when I start a new kind of campaign, a brand new context window, essentially, I always want to kind of prime the chat. And so say, review the attached data and prepare to chat. Okay. And this is what it did. Let me just show you guys, because it's crazy. If we come in here and take a look at this. Sorry, I'm in the wrong. No, I'm in the right one. Maybe I'm not. Go back and see. Why does that not seem right to me? Where is my, oh, because it's still, I'm losing. I just lost my train of thought, guys. I don't know what happened to my chat. Let me see. That's not it. Yeah, it is. It's missing the canvas. That's why. Okay, I'm sorry. It didn't look right to me because it's missing the canvas. By the way, guys, when you go to use the Gemini chat in Gem, excuse me, and that's why it threw me off, guys, because the canvas was missing. And now I'm used to seeing it on. Anyway, sorry. So that was my fault. Anyways, when you go to use this, when you start a new chat, click on Tools and then click Canvas. And what that does is it pops that area out on the right, which just makes it so much easier to work in. So that's why it screwed me up. So anyways, forgive me. So we're going to come back in here, and you'll see that I said at the top the same thing that I just mentioned. Review the attached data and prepare to chat. Okay. And so it goes through and it says, here's the comprehensive. And here, let me just open it. Here's the canvas. This is what I was missing just a minute ago. But there it is. So this is the outline. You see, all I did was prime the chat. I said, review the attached files and prepare to chat. And it spit this content blueprint out. Guys, this is the pillar page, right? Based upon, remember, the data pack that we attached was the SEO content and topic cluster data pack. So that's why it's writing in this format. This is the pillar page. And it's the pillar page outline. And this is showing exactly what I wanted to kind of emphasize, right? This is the pillar page outline, guys. So this is why it's very thorough. If you guys know the kind of topic cluster strategy, you know that there's a pillar page and then there's spokes, right? And basically the spokes all link back up to the pillar page. It's, it's an old tactic. We've been doing it forever. So this is a very, very thorough outline that is now optimized specifically for what it identified were opportunities to then draft content that will trigger the AI overview and AI mode algorithm. Right? Is that clear? So that was the next step then, was to kind of get the outline. And then the next one is to create, and this is, you'll use this once the article has been published. You want to have the FAQ schema so that you can just, if you have another schema tool, it's fine. But if not, you can just use Notebook LM to create the schema for you, right? So there's a Notebook LM prompt to create the FAQ schema, because remember, it's in the context window from the FAQs and everything that we asked it to previously, okay? So that's the next step then, and then that's what's sitting here at the bottom of this chat window here is the schema, okay? So the next thing then is we're gonna go into, go back, publish you're gonna publish the blog post, okay? So let me show you the output of this, guys. The next one was, that was the outline. Here's the article. Now, I asked the article because I knew I was going to be publishing this article in a Google site. That's what this is. This is the Google site, the G site for this client, Box Tree Care. All right. The reason I do that is because anybody who's been listening to me for any minute knows that I don't recommend that you blog on the money site, because it can create cannibalization or competing page issues. So we always talk about mirroring the structure of the main website. I've been talking about this for years, but we talk about mirroring the main structure of the website into a Google site. And now the Google site becomes one of our primary kind of blogging sites because it's a Google site. And we can do a lot more spammy stuff with it too, by the way. So what I did was for ease, to make it quick and easy to today, because I spent way more time developing that SOP than I planned, I just had Gemini, output this article in HTML format so that I could just copy and paste the entirety of that article into an embed block in the Google site. And that way the whole article is published, it's already styled and everything, and I didn't have to take the time doing all that shit manually. Because if you try to copy and paste into a Google site, you're going to have a whole bunch of line break issues and all kinds of stuff when you're copying into the WYSIWYG editor. So I use the embed box with the HTML already encoded around the text, and then you paste it in and boom, just like that, the whole thing's done. So that's it. This is the G site, guys. That's a 2,700 word article, by the way. I don't give a shit about word count, but I do care about topical coverage. And this article was done incredibly well. If you read through it, guys, I'll put this in chat just so you guys can see it. And then I know we got to run. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to go over so much, but trainings today is I'm always a little bit more go over on training. So anyways, you guys can check it out. I've got some internal links linked in here. This is right here goes to the oak wilt treatment page because a lot of the articles are actually talking about that. That's a big issue in the in that area. And then down here we've got a link just to the homepage, and then we also have a tap to call link there. And then the Google, this G site page had already been published. I just added this content to it today. Hopefully that's clear. And again, this is just one embed block where the entirety of that article was just copied and pasted directly into it, because right there is an HTML format. But then I asked it to well, first, by the way, the first time it gave it to me in full HTML page format. And then I said, no. And I corrected the prompt, guys. I had to refine the prompt to make sure right there. Excuse me. Let's see. Right here, right there. There's where I corrected the prompt and then reran it, because I said, look, I don't want the full web page markup. I just want the HTML markup for the content body, not the full web page. Do you understand? And so that's what I asked it to do the second time, and then it produced what I asked it to do. So I just had to refine that prompt a little bit. That's this one here. So you'll see that head section and everything. Well, then I asked it to provide it to me in text format so that I could put it into a Google Doc. So that would be this Google Doc here. Actually, that's showing here as well. This is the article. Okay, so guys, that's an 8-page article, 2,700 words. It's very thorough and it's done very well. It's formatted. By the way, look how it's formatted. That's how it gets, that's how it's more likely to get recommended or surface in AI search, is the formatting. It's the topical coverage, yes, but it's also how it's formatted. And this is Gemini formatting it to rank in Gemini. You understand? It's crazy that Google lets us do this, but it really is, because like, why would you want to go to another model and ask it like, how do you rank in Google, instead of just going to Google and asking, how do I rank in you? You know what I mean? So anyways, a very, very thorough article, guys. It should work really well. So now that we've published that, guys, then it's just rinse and repeat. When you go to publish now, I didn't put the JSON LD schema in the Google site because it won't work. It'll break. It's the embed code strips out a lot of those JavaScript tags or whatever. So it won't work. But if this was published on like Blogger or Tumblr or something like that, where we could get access, we could paste the JSON LD in there. So depending on what blogging platform it is, I do recommend that you try to incorporate FAQ schema if possible. If you're publishing on a money site, you shouldn't have any reason why you couldn't. So I do recommend that, because that's going to help it more likely to surface. You don't have to have FAQ schema, but it is more likely to surface if you do. Okay. So anyways, after that, you want to go back to the gem, because guys, it's funny. I didn't tell it to do it, but it went ahead and ran with the next article, even though I didn't tell it to. So let me just show you what I mean. We'll scroll down here and it says, there's the text format. And then I said, and I always compliment the AI, and I don't know if it's just a human thing that, or what, but whenever I get a really good output, I always tell it, hey man, nice work, or good job, or something like that. So I said, nice work. And it took that as the okay to go ahead and produce the next article. So here it already produced the first spoke article. I didn't ask it to, but it did, because that's part of that prompt, the system instructions. You understand? The system instructions say pillar page and then spoke pages. So the whole content plan has already been developed, and it's sitting in its memory, right, in this context window. So all we have to do is, and now that one is done, that's why it just makes it so easy, guys, because this gem is now ready to finish that entire content topic cluster. You see what I'm saying? And then all you have to do in order to reuse this gem for another area is just click edit. And then all you're going to do is swap that location modifier out. The system instructions stay the same. And then all you do is swap out your data packs for the context of the particular area that you're targeting. That's it. You only got to recreate one data pack, and that's the one, two data packs, one that does the initial analysis and then the other one that pulls out the opportunities. So those two data packs for whatever area it is that you're targeting, you rinse and repeat is what I'm saying, guys. This is very scalable. All right. So then once the blog post is published, and the pillar post and any of the spoke posts, okay, the next step then is, I recommend that you do two things. Number one is you go publish a Google business. This is it right here. So by the way, like I said, I put this in Google site. So if you're going to publish on the money site, then in any case, you take the article, right? So you take this article and then you ask Gemini to summarize it in, to 1,500 characters or less in Google Business Post format. And you'll see that right here. So I didn't know that it had created this spoke article. And so I said, please provide a summary of the article. And it provided me a Google Business Post format for the article for this spoke article. This isn't the spoke article, but the one that it had created. And I said, oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you had done it. So go ahead and create the Google Business Post for the Cedar Park Tree Service Guide, the pillar page article. And so it did. So you can see that's what I just published here, right? I just formatted it a little bit better, published it in there. And then the learn more button, where does that link to? To the Google site, right? That's the post. So if it's published on a money site, you're going to want to link the learn more button to the money site post. But if it's published on an external asset, which is what I really recommend that you do, on one of the branded assets, branded blogs, Google site, Blogger, Tumblr, WordPress, Weebly, Medium, any of those will work, okay? But then you're going to link the GB post to it. And then the next step, guys, is to go publish a press release, okay? Now, if you're targeting, and I point all of that out right there, okay? If you're going to be doing, guys, I'm telling you, this is how you get an AI search. I'm telling you, okay? I've been doing a lot of testing with this. You do it exactly as I'm describing you right now. And then yes, spend the money on the premium press release. If it's a pillar page, that's the same thing as a top of stack in a press release stack. So you mirror the content topics cluster with press releases, and you always link to the corresponding with a Google Business Post as soon as you publish the article, okay? Whichever level it's at, you're going to always connect the GBP to that post, and then you're going to publish a press release. The top of stack release should be a premium. It costs a hell of a lot of money. I get it. But guys, especially if you're an early adopter and you get in the AI search before the competitors do, it's harder to move, at least from what I'm seeing. Okay. I don't know how long we don't know because we don't have a history in it yet. But I feel like we're gonna have a better kind of a stronghold on these kind of results if we get in there early. Okay, so publish press releases. Press releases are crushing it for AI search right now, and if you structure them properly, the way that I'm showing you guys, you stand a much better chance of getting results very quickly. One of our mastermind members, who's in the we buy houses industry, I'm not going to say where or give her business away, but she started publishing last month because she just rejoined the mastermind, and she just happened to join when I had she asked about press releases when she rejoined. She's been in and out of the mastermind for years, and I had Jeremy Noltzman of Press Advantage, one the co-owner and developer of Press Advantage. He's in our group, and so I asked him if he wouldn't mind jumping on the call with me, the mastermind webinar, because she wanted to chat about how to use press releases for her business and to promote her business, because she's not an SEO, but she's doing SEO for her business. And so anyways, long story short, he came on and he gave some pointers and all that. And so she went and bought the Press Advantage subscription, and she published, I think she said 6 press releases last month. And she already got 2 house leads, 2 seller leads from just publishing press releases, guys. That's why yes, it's expensive, but it works. It produces results. So in my opinion, you guys should all be focusing a lot more on press releases. And with the method that I just shared with you guys, this document right here, guys, is like, this is a golden ticket. If you do this properly and you do this consistently, you will start to see results for your clients. I promise you. Okay. So anyways, I know that was a long thing to get through, guys. I'm sorry, but we're 15 minutes over. I didn't mean to go that long, but let's go ahead and give away our prizes and we'll wrap it up.
All right, well, we have got the random winner selected. Bradley, if you want to go ahead and choose maybe the best question, I'll put you on the spot here while announce that. So let's see. I need to look at my notes and make sure I got this right. For the addition of local ops, we have randomly selected Costco membership, which I love that is the screen name. So contact support at semanticmastery.com. We may need to do some verification. Just get connected with Chris there and we will get you access to the $300 training program. And Bradley, have you got somebody for best question?
Not yet. Give me a minute to read through a couple of these and answer them. And then when we get to the bottom, I'll choose one. Okay.
Alrighty.
Dan Kleinke says, in what order of AI engines do you lean on when researching? I pretty much, Grok is my favorite, but as far as conversationally and for research, I love Grok. Like Grok is awesome. But Gemini is my favorite to build in now, no question. And Claude, I just use for copywriting. And if I were a coder, I'm sure I'd probably use Claude for that too, but I'm not a coder. So I pretty much just use Claude for copywriting stuff. Claude Sonnet 4.5 is amazing for copy. It's really good. But I use Gemini a lot now just because Gemini 2.5 Flash is great for pretty much like all kinds of normal chat stuff. But whenever I'm running the gems for which is not in Claude, it could be set up in Claude too, by the way, Claude projects. But mastermind members would know this. I developed a copy agent and it's a copy clone, a cloning agent system that I developed. And it's so much easier to manage in Gemini because of its integration with Drive. And so Gemini 2.5 Pro is good for copy when you have the copy engine, right? The gem, or it could just be a separate chat that you add context to, but the gem kind of contains everything. If you have the copy engine developed properly, then Gemini 2.5 Pro is really good for copy too. But like if you're just going in cold with a basic prompt, like nothing beats Claude Sonnet 4.5 right now, in my opinion, in my experience, I mean. But my favorite is I still usually start at Grok with research, and then I will move into, as soon as I get to the point where I'm going to start executing tasks for whatever I've researched. Like when I start taking action to complete tasks, I will usually move into Gemini now, and then I just use Claude for specifically copywriting stuff. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. Meet is so much better than Zoom. Yeah, I hope so. I'm going to get rid of Zoom for sure. We're pissing money away. Jason, what's up, buddy? He says, please recreate that video you did about the $99 a month lead gen sites. Dan says, what about AI overviews and generating leads above? Yeah, we talked about that already. 321 Digital for the DHA model. Do you point the client's landing page in their GBP to the LOG site once they signed up with you? No. Because what I do with the lead gen sites is I just assign any leads that come from them to the client, but I try to sell the client on a new site. I still sell them an LLG site, but it's branded for them. You understand? My local lead generation sites are under one of my brands, and it remains that way. I don't rebrand the site. I leave it as my brand, but then any leads that come from that go exclusively to the client. But my pitch is, we're going to build you a new site, unless they have a site. You guys should already know, I don't work on other people's sites. So I tell them, like, if you really want good results, you should just replace your site and, use one of my sites. And so anyway, hopefully that answers your question. Move on. OMG, that is the best Google site I've ever seen made. Oh my God, Jason, it's terrible. Are you kidding? That's a horrible G site, man. When we used to build with the Marco and Rob and the Heavy Hitter Club and all that stuff, or MGYB, when we used to build drive stacks and everything, man, our guys that would build those were just fucking amazing. They'd make them look really good. The ones that we build they're just for SEO purposes. So Lou Flip says, basically, Gemini is confirming your heading structure practice is solid. Yes, it is, 100%. Jason says, the reason I'm saying this is the Parasite SEO is confirming the entity and sending its power, and then Google site has all that info optimized for the entity, Google being powerful. Yeah, that's part of the reason why we like to use the Google site for this type of content marketing. So long form content marketing, we tend to do on the Google site more than anywhere else, but we do scatter articles across other branded Web 2s also. Just to be clear, because you can add topical authority to other assets too, and it's just going to strengthen the brand in its entirety. So we don't just focus on the G site, but the G site does have some, kind of benefits to using it, right? Some additional benefits. All right. 2 data packs and bang, zoom straight to the moon. Dan says, is this a white label service we can order? It will be, Dan. I don't think you were at the top of the call, but Semantic Links, my link building business, we will do the analyses and develop content plans. So like we'll do audits for AI optimization audits, as well as develop content plans, but we don't do on-page work at Semantic Links. So Semantic SEO, which is the kind of more full service white label agency where we will do content marketing, that's where the service will be. So the analysis will be under Semantic Links, but the actual done for you service will be under Semantic SEO. And that will likely be the next 3 to 4 weeks before we get that launched. Okay. I'm trying to automate some of some of it. It's still going to be human directed for sure, but I'm trying to automate some of it. Okay. Cause I know we're going to have a lot of demand. So I don't want to open that up as a service, get flooded with orders and then not be able to deliver and blow my reputation. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to enter that kind of cautiously. I'd say 3 to 4 weeks. All right. Last one. Best question submission. What's your background desktop picture? I don't have a background desktop. Oh, yeah, I do. It's whatever the random Windows thing is. Some sort of nature scene. Nice work, Costco, and email sent. Looking forward to it. Okay. I would say, you know what? I'm going to give it to Jason. Jason, if you think you could benefit from local ops, you've been following us for a very, very long time, and every now and then you pop in and you've always got good stuff to say. So appreciate you, man.
Awesome.
Let's give the other local ops to Jason.
All right, done.
Okay. Right on. Well, hey guys, I appreciate y'all. Happy anniversary to us. 11 years. Hopefully I don't know about another 11, but
do a little golf clap.
At least a few.
Well done, Bradley. That's a lot of questions you've answered over the years, man.
Yes, sir. I'm ready to answer some more though. I love this stuff. And I'm super excited about where we're going with this whole like AI revolution. I really am. It took me a while to get fully bit by that bug, but I'm there now. Like I haven't felt like this in 15 fucking years. I really have a lot of ideas on how to make money from this, guys, that come join the mastermind. We're going to be talking a lot about that because I truly think traditional SEO is there's still a place for it, but it's becoming secondary, right? So again, we're going to be doing a lot. We're going to be opening up a new tier at Semantic Mastery 2. There's going to be a lower tier for more kind of the newer people that aren't quite as experienced. But we're probably going to go right into developing agencies that offer AI services instead of traditional SEO, because I feel it's easier for a newbie to come in and learn how to work within the AI environment than it is to go through and learn all the shit that you have to learn to do traditional SEO. And so we're going to have a new, probably after the first of the year now, but because of just the season, but it's going to be $100 a month subscription level. And then the top level is where in the mastermind, it's going to remain like it is now. But that way we can separate our audience by, kind of income levels of that, there's a bit of a class divide in our group. You know what I mean? So Anyway, thanks, Adam. I appreciate you for sticking around, guys. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys.